Time now for a check of weather with Brian Bledsoe of Brian Bledsoe Weather. Brian, much of the news this week looking at the aftermath of the hurricane hitting Jamaica. It's being called the strongest storm ever to hit the island, just devastating. But we only have a month left of the official hurricane season, and as of late October 2025, the Atlantic hurricane season is considered unusually quiet in terms of impact on the U.S. Brian, we don't need a hurricane, but there are some areas that are in desperate need of some rain.
Absolutely, Tyne. And the biggest thing that I think we need to focus on is that we're continuing to build on some of these dry areas that we've seen kind of expand across the majority of the country. So if we look at the current drought monitor, you can see that there's a good bit of the country that's still suffering from drought, whether it's in the Southwest, where the overall monsoon season didn't exactly resonate with some parts of the Southwest like it did with others. We've got drought issues across Washington, Idaho, Northwest Montana. And then while we've had kind of a lessening of dry conditions across the midsection of the country, we still have ongoing dryness that's going on across the majority of the Corn Belt and even all the way up into the Northeast. So absolutely, we have some areas here that we definitely need to work on. Are we going to get that moisture in here? Well, let's look at the prevailing upper level weather pattern that's going to go on for about the next 10 days or so. And what you're looking at here is the overall storm track, and where you're seeing those tan colors, those oranges and those reds bullseyed right over, say, Utah, Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico. That's going to be a big area of high pressure in the upper levels of the atmosphere that is essentially going to largely divert the majority of the storm track farther north. Now, you get farther east, and once you get into the eastern Great Lakes, the far eastern Corn Belt, and across the eastern part of the country, you'll be under the influence of a trough of low pressure. So there's a little bit better avenues there for, say, some colder air to come in and maybe some brief periods of some moisture. But this is not a pattern that is conducive to big storms moving across the country, bringing a lot of moisture with it. In fact, if anything, it's the exact opposite. And that'll be seen very clearly here in terms of the temperature anomaly through that same time frame, from November 1st right through November 11th. All of that red, a lot of warmer than average temperatures across the bulk of the country. We've got some cooler than average temperatures that are likely going to occur across the southeast part of the United States, but really the western 2/3 of the country is just simply going to be a blowtorch through the first 11 days of November. Precipitation wise, it's going to look like this. You probably could have guessed it. A lot of drier than average conditions there, especially where you're seeing those darker brown shades through the mid-Mississippi Valley and down toward the coast of the Gulf of America. The only wetter than average area is probably going to be confined into the Pacific Northwest and parts of the Northern Rockies. Now, will that prevail through the remainder of November and into early December? Well, let's look at what the latest extended European model is showing for today. And we're still seeing a lot of warmer than average temperatures across all of southern Canada and right down the zipper into the midsection of the country. So I still think there's going to be a lot of warmth prevailing. But as that core of that upper level ridge gradually breaks down, we will start to see a lessening of some of the drier than average conditions too. And you can see that clearly here. This again is from November 11th through December 11th. And if you look across the southern plains, you'll see a lessening of the brown shading with the precipitation anomalies right there. And it's pretty easy to see that the pattern will eventually start to break down and change a little bit. Areas farther north probably get that moisture first, and then we'll see if we can break down that drier than average pattern a little bit farther to the south. Time.
Thanks, Brian. Well, is the Kansas ag economy as bad as what some originally thought? Between cattle and crops, there's a lot changing, but there are some lead indicators one economist says are important to watch. We'll uncover those next.